When I translated the pseudocode into C++, I only showed the actual coding part. A big part of C++ is the need to worry about compiling, linking, managing files, and creating an executable. Different languages vary in the amount of effort it takes to go from the code to the game. C++ in particular is a bit of a hassle to go from pure code to a game with graphics. Game engines are a remedy for this issue. What is a game engine, and why use one? A game engine is a set of tools, a complex toolbox, made by a team that eases the difficulty of converting code into a game. I can write valid C++ code on paper, but to make it run, I have to make many considerations and use many tools to get it into an executable form. Every language has a process like this. A game engine takes an existing language and covers up some of the gritty details of this process. Some game engines allow for customizable levels of abstraction. Some abstract as much as possible and just let you plug graphical pieces together instead of typing code. The point of using a game engine is that you value the tools and components that come pre-built or easy to access over the ultimate freedom of writing pure code targeting a specific hardware. That's right. The closer you get to pure code, the more you have to consider the hardware it will run on. The further from pure code, the more you can focus on the abstract patterns of your idea. Game engines are a tool closer to abstract patterns than pure code is. A game engine often provides a place to write actual code, or use a graphical equivalent such as blocks. Additionally, it may provide tools that allow you to create art assets. Further, you may find pre-built components and many resources to connect with the community. If your focus is to create games rather than become a computer scientist, a game engine might be worth learning. After all, you will have to acquire and learn many tools, whether you are writing pure code or using a game engine. It's simply that game engines make it easier to make a game, and often provide a superior product for the time investment. This is the game that we made with C++. It's very simple, and right now, with the way we compiled C++ and the way we wrote it, it's just using a terminal. Most games have a graphical component, so this kind of sucks. It really sucks. But with C++, it's kind of hard to make a graphical game. Even when I was in a college class, it took a while before we could get to the point where we just kind of hand-waved getting graphical. We used SFML, but they were already installed on the computers. It was already set up to where it was pretty easy just to immediately start using it, though it was still complex to learn. Even using the terminal still requires a little bit of C++ knowledge, and when you're using C++, you have to compile it. You have to do certain things with it to make an executable, and that's a lot to learn on its own. We don't want this as much. We want to use a game engine that lets us use graphics, lets us use much more the complicated stuff of game making, because we want to make a game specifically, not necessarily do computer science. That's fine, and that can be done in conjunction, but we're going to focus on games right now. The game engine that I'm going to suggest using, and I'm suggesting this very loosely, like I haven't used Godot myself all that much, hardly at all, just to make some of the tutorial programs. I've used Godot, I've used Unity, I've used Stencil, all in a very novice amount, all following tutorials. But the most important thing is that you're picking something that has a good community, and it seems like Godot is growing and has a good community. No matter what you choose, though, it will likely have a learn page. And on this learn page, you are going to be able to find pretty much everything you need to get started. It has about stuff, tutorials. You'll find everything you need, probably on Unity and Stencil too. A good game engine has good documents. That's one of the most important things about a game engine, is you're getting this complex set of tools. You're going to need a little bit of help learning how to use it. Some of that's going to be from just jumping in and experimenting, making little experimental games and programs. A lot of that's going to come from the community and from standard help pages and documentation. With this, which you can find Godot, with the engine that I am recommending at godotengine.org, and click on Learn in the top right of the website, and you'll be able to get to all of these tutorials. I haven't even gone through them all. I think I've gone through like the step-by-step. I've gone through a decent amount of this. And I mean, I might not always use Godot. I'm going to use various different engines because I do believe in being very flexible and being able to know several things. It's really just one that I picked because I felt that it was good enough for what I was going to do. I believe it does support C++, so I can write in that code. But a lot of the, like using Visual Studios to turn C++ code into an executable is a little bit stressful. This makes it easier, hopefully. But when you hop into it, no matter which engine you choose, as I mentioned, there's a few others, and there's even more above that. There's, I'm sure, hundreds. But pick one with a good community. Pick one that's getting updated more frequently, like SFML for C++, which I mentioned earlier. That, I don't know if that gets updated as much as it should, or if it's easy as it should be. I'm more certain about Godot than I am about SFML. Plus, it lets you create a 2D game. It lets you create a window very easily. These are things you're going to want to not spend all your time learning how to do. You want to make a game, not learn how to instantiate a window in a Windows environment. I do recommend reading through this, and if you like it, try it out. There's going to be a lot more information here than I can show off or understand or create on my own. So this is an opportunity for you to find quite a few other people to tell you what to do in game making. I'm mostly just going to be making videos about me learning it and showing me learning it and what I make. So I'm definitely not an authority in this at all yet. But if I am an authority in learning it from a novice perspective, I'll be an authority on that as much as that's worth, and I welcome you to join me along on those videos that I make. But yeah, it's easy to download, especially Godot it's easy to jump into. That's the thing. Jump into a few different things. Don't just try Godot. Even if you seem like you like it, try the other ones that I mentioned as well, and anything else that you can find. Ask your friends. Just look it up on the web. Having these tools is going to be very important, and learning how to take a tool, anything you find, any kind of pattern, any kind of component, and use it to express your ideas. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to express the ideas in our head, get them out, get them playable, share them with others. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, all a game engine is something that helps you with that process. So go to godotengine.org, look up Unity, look up Stencil, look up top 10 game engines, and pick one and jump right in. And if you want to follow along with what I'm going to try to stick with Godot for a little while. So if you want to follow along directly with what I'm doing, then get Godot. It's currently 3.2 branch, it says, though I think it's on 3.2.1. If that's out when you're watching this, then good. And if it's not, then tools change over time, and that's a good thing.